Eddie's trying to convince me to retire. It's a little too early, and it's a little too early for EJ right now. So you might as well go ahead and get started. Guess who's back? Back on track. We're back in the studio for the first time in what feels like a year. That's Eddie Johnson. I'm Saul Blockman. Welcome to Outside Shots. And as always, you can get this beautiful t-shirt made courtesy of your people at ALLCITY Network by becoming a diehard. You can get it for free. How about that? Today, become a diehard. 50% off sale. You can't go wrong. Get all the articles you want behind the paywall and all that good stuff.
Where do you get that hat from? Kmart?
No, this one's from Branded Bills.
Really?
Guy.
They had the audacity to make a hat. Branded Bills.
Branded Bills has taste.
Where's the Illinois hat?
They have an Illinois hat.
Where is it?
EJ,
I don't have it.
EJ.
Send it to me.
Listen, they are a partner and a proud sponsor of this show.
Okay, that's fine.
You cannot besmirch Branded Bills.
I'm not besmirching
because you didn't
them.
do your own homework and go to the website.
Oh, you learned. You've been saying that word a lot, besmirch. I mean, you learned a new word. Define it.
Besmirch?
Yeah.
Disrespect.
Huh?
Disregard.
But you just learned that word. I mean, seriously, because you use it too much. Normally when people...
I used it one time.
No, you use it a lot. I'll show you the video.
You're going to go back
You use it a lot. But where's my Illinois hat?
Did you ask for one? Why would I go out of my way to get you an Illinois hat?
I mean, if you want to market, you want me to market stuff. Do you understand I'd wear that Illinois hat everywhere?
You know what's funny is if, I actually did have an Illinois hat for you. It was in the shopping basket, but then you guys lost, and I was like, I'm going to return it. There you go. It's too bad. We'll get to that at the end of this show. But first, let's talk about something good, which is your Phoenix Suns on a 4-game winning streak. The vibes have turned around. Guys are looking like they're energized. They're feeling good, feeling better about the prognosis of the season. They're in the 10th spot, tied with the Mavs still. Mavs won last night against the Nets. Anthony Davis comes back. So it looks like the road could be challenging. However, the Kings, I feel like, are the one to kind of keep an eye on as well because they're starting to slide. And if the Suns can continue on this hot streak, who knows where they'll end up. So, EJ, first of all, your overall thoughts on just this recent 4-game run by the Suns and how they've looked to you.
They've looked very good, my man. Very good. Desperation brings out that in you.
Yeah.
That's it. Like I said, since we've been on this podcast, over the years, people have tried to belittle the 82-game season and they want to shorten it. And I always argue back with them. If you shorten the 82-game season, then what you're going to do, you're going to allow the very good teams to dominate because now they don't play a lot and they'll destroy you. And so they won't be fatigued because a lot of times when the good teams lose, like Cleveland is losing right now, it's because they're mentally fatigued, not physically. And it's because of the marathon. And so you have to run the marathon. And this is what I would say. If you were running against me in a marathon, I'm going to beat you. But you can get a lead early if you work hard. So you can make me think. Like you can get out in front to give yourself a chance. Because if you get out in front, say I start cramping up.
Mm-hmm.
Say I turn my ankle.
Sure.
Now I can't catch you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I always say about the 82-game season. It's like, it's about getting off to a good start. Cleveland got off to a good start. They can afford to lose games now. Oklahoma City, they can afford to lose games now. Boston can afford to lose games now. They're pretty much set. The Lakers are losing now, but guess what? They got out to a lead. Mm-hmm. They're pretty good. They're fine. They're set. We didn't do that. We lost to teams like Portland. We lost to teams like Brooklyn. We've lost to teams that probably might not even make the play-in. And that's the egregious part. And now what we're doing is, with quote unquote the toughest schedule left in the NBA, we're having to beat very good teams.
Mhm.
And we got Boston tomorrow. And lo and behold, we have our longest winning streak since we started the beginning of the season. So it's desperation. And it's the desperation, man, as a player, man, I hated to be in. I used to always tell my teammates, hey, man, look, I don't care what we do. We got to beat the teams we're supposed to beat.
Yeah.
If we beat the teams we're supposed to beat, we'll win 50 plus and take our chances against the good teams. We did not do that this year. We blew game after game, and now we're trying to make it right. And you can see it. You can see the togetherness. You can see the connectivity. You can see the urgency. You can see all of a sudden the camaraderie, the communication, all of it now, because you know why? They're in a hole.
Mhm.
It's almost like if you and I was being chased by somebody, and now, you know, we might not like each other, but we know they have one thing on their mind is to get us. So what are we going to do?
Team
We're
up.
going to bond together to
Mhm.
figure out how we got to get out of this. And that's what they're doing right now. And I'm not saying they didn't like each other early in the year, but they were playing like it because they weren't connected.
Yeah.
And so I really love what I'm seeing right now, and hopefully it continues.
You know, Ryan Dunn, the last 6 games, double figures, been everything that he was at the beginning of the season. And Gerald actually had a great tweet yesterday that he actually doubled down on. He said they really sat Ryan Dunn for like a month. LMAO. Like, I mean, every single time I look at it, I just cannot believe that man sat on the bench for so long. For whatever reason, maybe call it a slump or whatever, but like, oh man, you watch the way he's playing right now, and then capped it off by just a fantastic dunk on Giannis Antetokounmpo. You were sitting courtside. Does it take everything inside you to not just jump out of your chair when you see something like that?
Yeah, it makes you. It was an amazing play, and you always learn to stay out of it as media analyst and watching it. I remember a number of years ago with Al McCoy, Stephon Marbury made a game winner against San Antonio, I think in a playoff game. And I messed up the call. Even though it became legendary what I did, Al was the one that was legendary. Like, I should have stayed out and allowed him to straighten this table out. I can't stand that. So almost like if your shoe's untied, I have
Okay,
to fix
all
your
right.
shoe.
Stay on task.
I'm always on task. I can go somewhere and come back. That's the way I am.
So Al McCoy.
But you don't have to leave me back on. I'm not old. And so you always want to respect the play-by-play guy. And I stepped over Al by laughing. And I messed up the call, right? But that replay is played back all the time now because of what I did. So I have to learn, because you know what K-Ray is going to say. Boom!
Mm-hmm.
So I got to let him get his boom out. Sometimes I do get in before the boom, and I know he looks at me side eye. He just doesn't know that I know he's looking at me side eye, but we talk a million words of freaking game, so it's hard to, not step on each other. But yeah, I mean, that was perfect, man. And I saw it coming when Devin threw the ball to him. And I saw it, because you have no choice. You're not laying it up against Giannis.
No.
He's just too long, man. It's just, you have to stand next to him on court to see how long and how strong he is. He probably, he's probably got the best body that I've ever seen in NBA. And that's saying a lot, because I think LeBron is right up there with him, right? But in regards to height and just how he spread out with muscles and how he walks, I mean, that's impressive, man. I mean, it's intimidating too, especially with his speed. So yeah, I knew he had to dunk it on him, and man, he dunked it on him. And that is a lifelong highlight for Ryan Dunn as a rookie. Think about that. As a rookie, he did that.
Mm-hmm.
Not many rookies get to dunk on like tremendous players. Like Dikembe was the guy everybody wanted to dunk on. Patrick Ewing, Mark Eaton. like Akeem. Like it was guys that you like knew it was hard to dunk on them. That's what you tried to do, dunk on them. You know, even Manute Bowl, everybody wanted to dunk on him. You know, it's like that's just the way it is, and so it was great to see.
Did you ever dunk on anybody?
Yeah, I did. Matter of
At any
fact,
level?
my second year in the league, I went down the lane. I could dunk, man, and you know, I just didn't do it.
Sure.
It was just two to me. That was always my mentality. But when I was younger, heck yeah, I could dunk. And I went down the lane on Michael Thompson.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
Clay's dad.
Yeah.
And he, you know, I saw him too. And I went with my right hand, and I had a very good left hand. And I really actually love to dunk with my left hand. And I went in, and I saw him coming, and I kind of turned sideways. And he came over there. He was getting ready to jump. And I went up, and I guess he thought I was going to lay it up. And I, went back to the free throw line. I was just like, he looked at me like a shy kid. He like lifted his head like, I was like, yeah, don't you try that no more. Man, I didn't go down that lane the rest of the game. I knew this fool was going to try to kill me.
Oh, man. I've never dunked on anybody, so except like maybe 8-foot hoops, because I was kind of like the same way. I didn't really care about dunking at all, so I never tried. I just wanted to play. So, you know, hey, listen, Kevin Durant has been on a heater as well. He was Western Conference Player of the Week this past week. He's been phenomenal all year. Sometimes you feel like he can't get the ball enough when it comes to, you know, being able to score, and the Suns looking for opportunities to get him the ball. Last night, you know, you texted me and you were like, we need to talk about this. You had some words on the sideline, and you're trying to, you know, encourage the Suns to get the ball to KD a little bit more. Is that how I understood it?
No, I was doing the game, actually. I don't know. We might have the highlight. Do you have the highlight with audio?
No, can't.
Oh, you can't do that.
No.
I mean, okay. All right.
Sorry. You didn't tell us that.
Okay.
Anyway.
So no, it's on my Twitter feed, at JumpShot8. So no, I was just like, you know how I call games. I call games, and I'm trying to I'm talking it up. I'm not afraid to anticipate what's getting ready to happen. Sometimes I'm wrong. A lot of times I'm right. And I'm not saying that to be boisterous or anything. I'm just saying, big word I just threw at you. I'm just saying because I've lived it and I can see it coming. Like I felt early in the fourth quarter, I said, look, Grayson Allen and Tyus Jones, they got to help. Like they got to knock down threes. They had missed early in the game. As soon as I said it, Grayson hit a three. It's not because I'm guessing. It's because I see the rhythm of the game, right? And I think that's how you do it. And look, KD was hot. And Devin was struggling from three. And so I made the statement. I said, you know, the Suns have a great combination with those two. Like Devin needs to melt into the fact the three's not going. So get to your spots, man. Like get to your mid-range, man. You know, get there. So on the baseline, early in that quarter, he turned around, fake right, went back. Fake left, went back right, knocked down a little short corner to stay within the game. I'm like, Devin, stay with that because the three's not working for you. And then get the ball to KD, man. His 3-point game was ridiculous last night. I mean, guys were in his grill. He was knocking them down. And I just felt like sometimes you have to say it like, man, get him the ball. Like, he's hot. It's like the Suns got Devin the ball in the last game. Like, get him the ball, man. And I said it, and it was on time. I mean, as soon as I said it, he came off a screen, and he knocked down the three to put us up one. And so, yeah, I mean, that's all, man. I just, I'm not guessing out there. I just know the flow of the game because I've watched so many games and played so many. But you got to get the ball to the guy that's hot. I totally believe in that, and they did.
There's a lot of things when you're playing basketball that maybe you get frustrated about, but I don't know if there's you should know this more than anybody as a shooter. I don't think there's any one single thing that's more annoying in the game of basketball than when you know you were hot, everybody in the gym knows you're hot, and still somehow, some way, you come down the court and the ball doesn't even get to you. I don't think there's anything more frustrating in the world.
Well, look, you run the play, run it, execute it right, he'll get it every time. And I've had some great coaches that was able to do that. The games that I got hot in my career playing under Cotton Fitzsimmons, didn't nobody stop me from getting the ball. I mean, because we ran plays to get it to me. Like Tom Chambers ran plays to get it to him. Like, and that's part of it. And it's not just always on the coach; it's on the players too to be connected out there and make sure they run and do their responsibility within the play. And you got to get them the ball, make life easy for them because they were doubling them, they were being physical with them, and you got to make things easy for them. And I think a lot of times though, KD, he likes the combustion of having to fight to get the ball, which I wish he got away from that a little bit. Where he's catching the ball out at half court and he just says, "Get out of the way, I want to do it. I just do it on my own." And sometimes it's good, but the other times I think it's not good, and I think it fatigues you at the end of the game where you've been doing that. And that's the only negative that I have. Is that I just hate to see KD and Devin have to go all the way out to half court to get the ball.
Yeah.
And we just see that like a dozen times a game. And I would love for that to show up because I think it forces us into turnovers. We shouldn't have. Man, look, most times you don't win a game when you're giving up 29 points on turnovers.
Yeah, no. Especially
and they only had 6 on turnovers.
And your 2 stars have 10 combined.
Yeah, you just can't do it. And so they got away with that one last night.
Yeah. Ted Offensive
Can
in the
I
chat.
address something, right? Can you go back on the screen right quick? Something bothered me. Right here. Killer Rex. Listen, man, I see that you're putting certain things up. And you say Beal is a cancer on this team. When the team is hyped and the camera pans to him, he's always looks pissed. You're wrong. You're wrong. Got a great attitude, man. He supports the guys over there. He's been supportive with the guys all year. See, sometimes you need to ask the question before you make the statement. So you're judging somebody based on how they're looking on the sideline. Maybe he's looking and wishing he was out there. Maybe that's just his stoic face. For you to say that as a joke, man. Like, you don't even know Bradley Beal. Have you ever met him? All right, I'm good.
Okay. We're going to get to Bradley Beal here in a second, actually. But Ted Offensive in the chat said, Collins' role in the turnaround has been huge. The game he and KD won against the Clippers was the turning point this season, in my opinion. Collin has pushed Tyus to, as soon as I said, to play better to play better too. I couldn't even get through that. What do you think about Collin Gillespie's role right now and how he's, do you think he's pushed Tyus? Do you think that he has been integral in this turnaround? And what have you liked from what you've seen of his that he's added? I like his tenacity. I love his toughness. I love the fact that he's always trying to make the smart and good play. And that's all, I feel like that's all kind of bled into everybody else in terms of just playing smart, good, strong, energetic basketball.
I think he's just set over there as a young player. And obviously he learned a lot just playing, in Denver and watching Jokic and seeing how he, that he kept them going offensively and how he moved the ball, how he passed. And I think you learn from stuff like that. And sitting over there on the bench, going through what he's gone through this year with his ankle injury and having to go in the G League and because he had a good preseason. I don't think he even thought that he would be in the G League as long as he has, up and down. But I think he's watched to see what the Suns needed, and he seized his opportunity. That's all. I don't really say it's something that Tyus wasn't doing. It's just that we weren't cohesive at one point in time. We were losing games, and that happens. Changes are made. I think Tyus has been fantastic. Dude doesn't miss from 3, man. I don't know why people didn't think that this kid couldn't shoot. I mean, he was one of our better shooters from 3. Didn't shoot it well last night. So, no, I just think it's just Collins' turn to see if he can make it work with the guys, and it's worked. And so you stick with it. So I'm not putting it on Tyus in that regard. I'm just saying that Collins figured something out, and he's blending well. And, the scouting report's going to change on him. So a lot of times it takes teams a while to figure out what guys like to do, what you can take away from them because he hasn't played. And then we'll see as the season progresses if he's able to continue to find play that he's been exhibiting.
So let's get to Bradley Beal because that was going to be a talking point, and since you kind of already brought it up, let's talk about Bradley Beal. So there's a couple things that exist that we need to deal with. One, the Suns have been playing good basketball without him. And matter of fact, this is how good Kevin Durant and Devin Booker have been without Beal. They have a 13-3 record without Bradley Beal. And with Beal in the lineup, those three specifically have like a minus 3.5 rating, a net rating overall as a trio. But if you take Beal out, the rating improves, which is kind of just insane to me. I don't know what to think about this because obviously not all the problems were not just Bradley Beal, obviously. But how do you fit him back into the lineup, knowing that this team is on a roll and knowing that if you do lose and after you've brought him back into the lineup, people are immediately going to be like, well, it's Bradley Beal's fault. He's the one that threw the chemistry off, or he's the reason why they lost, because that's just the cause and effect of playing a player and it leading to a loss as opposed to not playing a player and it leading to a win.
I say it's hogwash. I just think it's people want to point the finger at numbers, which to me is a joke. To go along with that plus minus, they'll say, well, that guy's a minus 20 on when he's on the floor. Well, he's on the floor with different dudes. Maybe those dudes are making him be a minus 20. It's who you're playing with. I think that plus minus is the biggest freaking joke going. Like, it's a team sport. So maybe the combination that the person is out there with doesn't have it going. I just don't buy into that analytic, robotic junk. I just don't. I mean, some of that analytic stuff is fine, but when they start going there to try to isolate what a person's not doing, like they said about LeBron, they say LeBron, when he's off the floor, the Lakers play well. Well, don't play him then and see how the heck that plays out. Really, just don't play LeBron. Send him to the G League. See how it works. Come on, man. Like, if Bradley Beal was shooting a low percentage from the field, you have an argument. If he wasn't one of the Suns' best three-point shooters, you have an argument. If he wasn't out there trying to defend, you have an argument. He's probably the Suns' best rebounding guard. Look at the numbers. He's probably the best rebounding guard. Mm-hmm. So if he's doing all those things and he's giving up his game, and it's very hard to do for a guy that led the league in scoring 2 times. So I just laugh at that because I think when he started coming off the bench and he agreed to do it, I thought he was still playing well. That's a hard adjustment to make. I think it's the combination of the guys around you. So when Beal was playing and you start piling up these numbers and all that, we weren't healthy back and forth during the course of the year when he wasn't playing, and then when he did play, and they say 13-3. The underlying value of all of this is Ryan Dunn, also Colin right now. It's the energy that's surrounding these guys that's allowing us to win. And I think when Beal comes back and he's involved in that energy, it'll continue. And he's a threat. Like, so sometimes people want to isolate and blame stuff on people. Man, look, you win as a team, you lose as a team. And I just don't buy into that, man. And I get it. It's an analytical world. People that, didn't play at a high level, they judge the game and they view the game with their head down, looking at stats and numbers. And that 13-3 looks good, looks nice. I get it. Those three rarely play a ton of minutes on the court together, if you think about it. So, okay, so Bradley Beal comes in when KD goes out. Or Bradley Beal comes in when Devin goes out. And if they got it going in the fourth quarter, then you leave all three. If they don't, then Bradley Beal's got to say, okay, I probably might not play quality minutes, or say he has it going and say Devin gets an extended rest than he normally would get. I mean, I just think it's that kind of movement and coaching that can help that. But I'm just not going to point the finger at Bradley Beal, man, because the finger's been pointed at everybody this year. KD at one point, Devin at one point, Bradley Beal at one point. They killed Nurkic at one point. They killed Grayson at one point. I mean, who has not been killed on this team all year by fans? Seriously.
True.
So now they jumping over the Bill because somebody throws a freaking stat out saying, oh, they're 13-3 without him. I just don't buy it. It's a team, man. And I think you can figure it out. And, that's how I view it.
But it's been 2 years and nobody's been able to figure it out.
Well, injuries has been the issue. So now if you want to go to the injury part, okay. Like Brad has had a hard time staying healthy, and he has an NBA body. I don't think it's for lack of effort. I mean, the guy tries to block shots. He chases down. He rebounds. It ain't like he puts himself in harm's way sometimes by the way that he plays. So, I mean, it's unfortunate, man. I mean, some players just can't overcome injuries. It's the nature of this game.
Yeah.
And so, everybody's going to get injured, man. Jokic hasn't been played in about a week and a half. And everybody kept saying, oh, Jokic is just durable. I said, his time will come. His time will come.
Yeah.
Like, it just happens. And Brad just, he's had a tough time in his career with injury. And it's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. I'm interested to see how he, comes back to the fold, because the fan reaction is not going to be so great if they're on this heater and he comes back and they struggle again. Like, it's just going to be, it's an obvious thing for fans to point to say, oh, well, that's got to be the reason, because they haven't been able to figure out. And to your point, the consistency of Bradley Beal being available has really hurt not only him, but also his teammates and getting used to him being on the court. So that is a factor. You're right. Let's take a look at the standings real quick, since we're here. And right now, as we sit, the Suns are in the 10th spot, 35-37, just a single game back behind, or actually a half game behind the Sacramento Kings, and they're far in the rearview mirror of the Minnesota Timberwolves. With 10 games left to go, it's nip and tuck between Dallas, Phoenix, and Sacramento. Portland's still right there. They got an outside shot, but they'd have to get on a heater, and they have a kind of the three of the four teams outside of Phoenix have a favorable schedule compared to the Suns. The Suns have the toughest one left. So, but the Suns are catching a little bit of a break. They caught the Cavs when they were down a little bit on a losing streak. They beat Milwaukee last night without Dame, and now Jason Tatum last night gets fouled on a three-point shot by Sabonis and twists his ankle and misses the rest of the game. His status for the Suns game is up in the air. Don't know if he's going to play. If I had to guess, I'm going to guess that he probably is not going to play. But I don't know if you saw the clip of him getting injured. Basically, Sabonis on a closeout. His feet were a little too close to Tatum. Tatum twisted his ankle on coming down. And by the looks of it, it looked like Tatum got shot. He was writhing in pain, and it clearly, a twisted ankle hurts. It's not fun. But oh my gosh, Twitter is a cesspool, because everybody's just talking about how dirty of a player Sabonis is and that he did it on purpose and all this other stuff. And if you look at it, it's not like Sabonis was looking down. He tried to close out, turned around, saw him on the ground, was like, what the heck just happened? Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it. When you do a lot of one thing, sooner or later it's gonna, if you drive reckless, sooner or later you're gonna get a ticket. Sooner or later you're gonna have an accident, because you're doing it a lot. And that's what Boston does. They take a lot of threes, and they make a lot of threes. And because of that, teams get terrified about it, and they're very aggressive with you, and they're challenging you. And Jason Tatum has had an unbelievable, tremendous year. He's a tremendous basketball player. And you know what? You can't allow him to get good looks. You're going to close out. Sometimes you're going to make a mistake. Sometimes he's going to come down because he's trying to draw a foul. These guys kind of contort their bodies a little bit to draw the foul. A lot of them fall down after they shoot the three. I've never seen guys fall down as much as guys do in today's game taking jump shots. You weren't taught to do that. And the funny part is they're protected because they know it's a flagrant. They know it's an egregious foul if you do step onto someone. Well, back in my day, it wasn't egregious. Like, guys get up under your feet and you're coming down. So what we had to do offensively was kick him in the shin. I once kicked Danny Ainge. Once I told him, I said, hey, man, you get under my foot one more time on a jumper, I'm telling you, I'm going to kick you because I have no choice. And he got up under me. I tried to kick him right in his knee. I got him. It's either one of the two things. And so, I don't try to think it's egregious on that. I mean, who wants somebody stepping on their foot?
Nobody.
Like, think about it. Guy jumps up in the air, and if somebody comes down on your foot, that hurts, man. Like, nobody's purposely saying, oh, put my foot under there so he can come down on my foot. Man, that's your instep right there. Man, that hurts, man. Yeah. I'm telling you, that hurts. Like, you don't want somebody 230 pounds coming down on your foot. So ain't nobody doing it on purpose. You got them big spastic guys go out there. Sabonis is spastic, Big guys, they're good basketball players, but they're cumbersome and they're, you watch Nick Richards, right? Nick, if he doesn't get his feet together, he looks spastic a little bit, right? Plumlee looks spastic a little bit. I mean, we saw what Nurk is spastic. Like, name me a big guy, like, other than Giannis, Jokic, that will you say they look like they run like a smaller guy. Like, big guys normally are kind of clumsy because they're so big. So that's hard at play. So yeah, look, you know how these fans are. They like these Milwaukee Bucks fans. Like, I haven't heard from them in I don't know how long. Seriously.
Been a minute.
And they mad at me last night because I cracked on Dame's shirt, which I love Dame Lillard, okay? I see Dame Lillard, hug him, say hi. But I just said his shirt looked like it was Valentine's Day. He had hearts on his shirt. I mean, that's all I said. I didn't say it was cheap. I didn't say anything about it. I didn't say it was ugly. And they talking about that on Twitter. Then they talking about that I said, please get the ball to KD. He out there begging. Well, he out there, he the worst. Look, you people in Milwaukee, I'm from Chicago. First of all, you are a suburb of Chicago. You are a suburb. All you people, what you do, you go shopping, you get on the road, you drive an hour and a half, come down to our place, Chicago. You're not shopping in Milwaukee. You're not. I'm serious. It's dreary, cold-like. Nobody want to live there unless they playing there. Boy, they drink a lot of beer. You better get off me, man. I'm being nice, man. Don't these Milwaukee people, don't you start messing with me. Seriously, because y'all depressed because you living like Eskimos up there in April. Look, mind your own business. Enjoy your team, man. Leave me alone on Twitter. Hey, just disrespectful to EJ. Just disrespectful.
We got a lot more in store. But first, let's get into some of these messages. Folks, if you need a little happiness in your life, and I'm sure some of the people in Milwaukee could use some happiness, apparently, you can just go to Circle K and enjoy all the snacks, the beverages that they have to offer. Some of the premium products that you want at a convenience store is right at your fingertips at Circle K. And plus, if you become an Inner Circle member, you can save 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups by becoming a member of the Inner Circle and downloading that today. Plus, they'll hook you up with 5 free drinks. Yesterday, they had a fuel day, so if all Inner Circle rewards peeps were able to just put their number in and save 25 cents off a gallon just randomly. So that's what Circle K does. They give back to people in the community. They like to make sure you guys feel like you're getting extreme value, especially in today's day and age when prices feel like they're constantly inflating all over the place. It's always nice to make sure that your local convenience store is going to take care of you, and you can make sure that you get yourself hooked up by going to join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. And then on top of that, listen, Suns are about to hit the road after the next few games, and you're going to want somewhere to watch some of these games. And Spinatos is the place to be able to go and watch these games. Away game watch parties at Spinatos. Our crew is going to be out there as well. The next home game against the next road game against the Timberwolves. It's going to be a fun environment. You can win prizes by playing pizza, which is their version of horse, ticket giveaways, the whole 9 yards. Hook yourself up. And you can also win free pizza for a year. How about that? So do so by going and getting all the info on the watch parties and pizza basketball contests at SpinatosPizzeria.com. Spinatos, the official pizza of the Phoenix Suns.
Good pizza, man. Good
Absolutely.
pizza,
It's
man.
fantastic.
That Chicago type pizza, that baby.
It's good. It's good. They got a nice thin crust. That's fantastic. So you can't go wrong with
You a
Spinatos.
thin crust guy?
Yeah, thin crust.
Oh, you don't know you're not a thick crust guy?
No,
Oh,
I don't like bread.
I'm not either, man.
Yeah.
People try to act like Chicago's well known for the thick crust. Only for tourists.
Yeah.
You live in Chicago, man, we thin crust all day long, baby. Thin crust, baby.
It's never appealed to me. So.
Yeah, you get full after 2 slices. I want to eat the whole pizza. You order a big medium-sized pizza or whatever, right?
Yeah.
If you get the thick, you can only eat 2 slices.
A slice or 2, yeah, at the most. Yeah. That's true.
That
That's
thin
true.
crust, man. I eat the whole pizza.
All right. So then, listen, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in sports right now. And obviously I'm wearing this shirt because, March Madness, but also the Masters is coming up, and you're going to want to come out on Masters Saturday to Dobson Ranch because we have our Green Jacket Open that Saturday, and you are all invited to come out, play, get a foursome together, come out, play, and have a great time. We're going to watch the Masters that morning. Then we're going to go out and hit the afternoon tee times. It's going to be fun. A lot of prize packs, limited edition prize packs that you can only get at this event. So please go to gophnx.com/events and sign up. EJ, are you going to play?
What day is it?
It is the 12th
of April?
I think it's the 12th, the Saturday of April. Yeah. Yeah. April 11th. You going to be on the road?
I told you where I'm going to be.
Oh, wait, I thought you said that's next week.
Bandon Dunes. No.
It's in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Damn. Well,
I'll, you can like FaceTime me.
FaceTime.
I'll have a coat on, and it's cold up there.
It's all good. It's all good. We'll find somebody to take your spot. It's all good. Anyway, listen, like I said, a lot of stuff going on in the sports world, and I wanted to get to a couple of things that are kind of non-Suns related, but still important. EJ, being a college athlete and then a professional athlete, college back in the day was a little bit different than it is now in the landscape in NIL. Over 600 basketball players so far have already entered the transfer portal, and we haven't even got to the second weekend of the tournament yet. It is wild. There were players that were saying that were hitting the transfer portal not even an hour after they got eliminated from the tournament. Mid-majors did not fare well in this tournament at all because it's hard to compete with schools that have the massive NIL amounts that they do. The 4 power conferences own NIL right now. From a perspective of just basketball and the purity of what we knew of the college game, that might be completely gone. What do you think about this NIL stuff in terms of the way it's shifting college athletics?
I blame it on the coaches. I blame it on the coaches. I do. I don't want to hear them complain. Few of them have retired and quit. I don't have to call them out. They know who they are because, they've been cheating all these years, and now everybody can pay players. Now they mad because everybody's catching up to them. I don't have to say those coaches' names. You know, it's cheating. It was cheating in college at a high level. And it's been cheating in college since I went as a parade All-American when I came out of school. Unfortunately, for me, I never took anything. And I can honestly look in the camera and tell you, I did not. And the reason I didn't take anything from schools, and I was recruited by every university in the country. I had my choice to go anywhere I wanted to. And I chose to go to Illinois because they didn't offer me anything. Now, years after that, Illinois got in trouble because they did pay some players and stuff. But the reason why I didn't accept anything is because my brother was one of the top players in the country, and he took everything when he went to college, and he failed. Academics went south. He had to transfer from Texas A&M. He was freshman of the year down there, and I thought it cost him. And it did. He went on to play for the Globetrotters, but he should have been in the NBA. And I learned from that. So I didn't accept anything. I had universities offer me Saul. They offered to buy my mom a house. And trust me, that was hard for me to say no. I went to a school. They told me that I would make $50,000 in the summer at my summer job. I turned it down. And I was poor. I didn't have anything. But my whole goal was seriously to get my degree, first in my family, and then not be ineligible because I saw players get caught and not be able to play the game that they love. So I ate it. And a lot of times in Illinois, I didn't have enough money to buy a meal. You know, one time, I would say one time, I came outside as my wife now. We was coming outside of this restaurant. And it was a restaurant with alumni. He like a father figure to me. And I would go over there and eat, so it was like, they could have said it was half illegal, but it really wasn't because this guy had been mentoring me forever. And he was like a father figure for me on that campus. And I was walking out and I looked down by my tire and I saw a row of hundreds like this. Okay. And I looked, I was like, and I picked it up. And I felt bad about it. I sent most of it home to my mother. That was the only time. But I turned down a ton of stuff, man. I did. And I'm looking at that and I'm watching these college coaches leave. Like they bring in these recruits and tell them they love them and they want them. Then the next year they leave. Mm-hmm. Beal Self went to Illinois and man, we were so happy to have him. A couple of years later, he leaves and goes to Kansas. Like, where's the allegiance? Where's your promise? And these coaches leave. And now these players are in the same position now to leave and people don't like it. I say kick rocks. Until you control these coaches and you get them to honor themselves, if they have a 3-year deal and they got to stay and they cannot break their contract, then you go after the players. And then you say, you know what, player? We'll give you $3 million. But you got to sign a 3-year deal. Like you cannot transfer for 3 years. Now, most of those guys leave after 1 year. That's 5-star, right? But the other guys, you cannot leave. You got to own up to your responsibility. Now, in your 4th year, things didn't work out, blah, blah, you went through it, you gave the test, you can leave. And you got 1 year to prove that, okay, you are a player somewhere else. But you getting some of these guys that's leaving year after year after year, 3 times. How many times you do Caleb Love left?
Just twice. Or just once.
Yeah.
He went from North Carolina to Arizona.
So my thing is, that's what I look at. Is like, stop looking at the players, man. These coaches started this mess.
Okay, I get what you're saying, but I'm going to push back a little bit just on the coaches because the coaches do sign contracts. And yes, I know they can bail and they get bounced, but a lot of times, almost every single time, there is a buyout that they have to pay to get out of that contract. These players don't have that obligation. They don't have that buyback. There's no contract.
Because it's a 1-year deal.
Well, yeah, but
that's why. So that's why I say do 3 years.
But again,
like do 3 years, and then they can't.
But what I'm saying is like they don't have those limitations placed on them, so they can go for 1 year to the next. They can play for 5 straight years.
I'm agreeing with you.
5 different programs.
So I'm agreeing.
Coaches
with you.
won't do that.
But I'm agreeing with you.
I know,
players lock them in, and coaches need to be locked in. And so now that guy decides to go to that school. He knows that coach is going to be there because he knows that coach has a 3-year deal. That coach can't leave. Me, the parent, we're saying the reason I'm sending my kid to you is because I like you.
Yeah.
I like you, coach. That's why my kid's coming there, so you can teach him how to play. And you leave, and now what? So my point is lock both of them in. And so now that kid knows, okay, that coach only has 2 years left on his deal.
Mm-hmm.
He might leave. I'm not going. He has a choice now.
Sure.
Like, that's all I'm saying. I don't want to hear it. Everything want to go back to the kid because, quote unquote, some people, I'm not saying you, some people jealous because they went to college and they had to go get student loans. You got college athletes on campus now driving freaking Mercedes. You don't like it. I get it. I get it.
I don't think so. I know there's a faction of people out there that are like that. They're just hating on the kids.
They're giving them death threats, man. They're giving these kids death threats.
Oh, I know.
They're threatening them. They're doing all this stuff, and a lot of it is out of jealousy.
I know.
It's not out of like, oh, the kid's playing bad, and I want to do it. No. It's out of enviousness and jealousy because let's face it, man. And I get it. I was a broke college student. I get it. Like, there's a lot of college students out there or people that's in the working force now that know they're still paying student loans, right?
Yeah.
Like, and they're ticked because they're seeing these college athletics getting paid to go to college where they had to pay to go to college.
Sure.
They already was jealous because you were getting the scholarship, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, you're getting a 4-year deal and scholarship and now they're getting paid on top of it. They can't stand it. Because they're getting a jump start.
Sure.
That's what it is. So I don't want to hear it. Kick rocks. Like make it easy. I agree. These students are leaving, they're quitting, and I hate that. Stay with it. I could have transferred from Illinois. I went there as an All-American, man. One of the top players in the country. Lou Henson freaking didn't play me. And everybody was telling me to leave. All of my teammates were saying, man, we're going to DePaul. Mark Aguirre was going to come to Illinois. The reason he didn't go to Illinois because he saw Lou Henson didn't play me. So that's how it was. And so I would not leave. You know why I did not leave? Because he was right. He was right. If you go look at my college stats, you'll see it. Go to Basketball Reference. He was right. I was not ready.
But a lot of people don't.
Most of these guys, they quit because they think it's the coach's fault. These parents, they make their kid leave because it's the coach's fault. I was not ready. And I stayed 4 years, and that man taught me how to be a pro. When I got to the pros, I averaged 9 points my first year because I didn't know nothing. And then the second year, I averaged freaking 20 because I figured it out.
Yeah.
And I had the understanding and maturity to figure it out. And that's the difference, man. And so that's what disappoints me is that these kids quit. We live in a quitter society. You don't want to blame on everybody, But these coaches got to make it easier, man. They got to stay. They got to honor their job, too. And they recruit a kid, man. They got to let that kid know that they might leave. Hey, Saul, I'd like for your kid to come to my school. I think he's tremendous. I have, 2 years left, but I will tell you, my dream job maybe is somewhere else, and it's a chance that I could leave. Be honest with the parent.
Yeah.
They won't, they lie. So I don't care. I mean, I don't care what these kids are doing right now until these coaches own up to what they need to do.
I got you. Listen, that's part of it. That is definitely part of it, for sure. But I think the other part of this is also, listen, some of these kids are leaving mid-majors and lower level schools that coaches are entrenched in, and they haven't left for a decade plus, right? So you can't really blame the coaches in those regards. These coaches have invested in some of these kids, right? And they built them up.
Yeah.
And the minute they get good, they're off to greener pastures. I can't blame them for the money, but it does kill what made March Madness specifically, and I think people are kind of realizing that this year, what made March Madness so special, that those upsets, those obscure players that you never heard of before, being able to show their skills on the national stage, but now they've been depleted so much because they're going to these big programs because of the money, that they got to struggle for every single little thing that they can get. And we only had like, I think 3 upsets in total of anything more than an 11 seed. So that's just,
you're right. So man, look, I'm not pushing back on you.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
You are right. And so that's why I say this thing has to get fixed, man, because it's college really had no idea. They should have really consulted with people. And it's really, really hurting the NBA. It truly is, because a lot of these players now that come into the league, we don't even know who they are because they move from school to school, right? They don't really develop a following from college. And that's what you're saying. Like, players they used to develop a following. Like, when I left Illinois, the NBA got fans because now the Illinois fans that followed me for 4 years
want to follow you in Kansas City.
They followed me to Kansas City.
Yeah.
Like, that we don't follow players anymore because we don't know them. Like, a lot of these players, 5-star, they really show up on the campus and they're only on the campus for like 6 months. How do you get to know somebody in 6 months?
Yeah, you can't.
You can't. And they don't even probably check out in the second semester because they got to go train. They got to go do all of that. So they're only there for really 1 semester.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. But I wanted to get your opinion on it and bring it up today since it's kind of a national talking point right now. But before we do wrap up, our guy has written a book, and finally, it is coming out next week. The Sun's Revenge, written by Eddie Johnson and with Gary Ponzo. Eddie, you've kind of touched on this before, but I know obviously you're excited. How long did it take for you to put this together? And what should people expect when they read it?
Yeah, I know some people out there can probably understand what I'm getting ready to say. I have a gift, and my gift is, and I think I developed it when I was a young kid. Anytime that I close my eyes and go to sleep, I dream. It is not one time that I have gone to sleep, I remember in my life, where I don't dream. And I dream full stories. Like, I truly do. And I'm not kidding you, man. It's a unique gift. And people out there that go through it, they know what I'm talking about. Like, some people, they go to sleep and they just say darkness. They don't dream.
Yeah.
Or they wake up and they don't remember. Like, that's not me. It's in clear HD. I dream. My wife has taken film of me while I'm asleep, because a lot of times sometimes I'm dreaming basketball and I'm playing, and she's taking film of me and I'm like shooting the ball in my sleep. So it's something, I don't know what it is, but I enjoy it. And so about 4 years ago, I've always wanted to write. I had to write a lot when I was a history major. Anybody that majored in history knows you had to write all these freaking papers all the time. You had to do essay tests. I mean, it was just a part of me. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I had a dream. And it was about an athlete. And it was a mom that and I don't want to tell too much about the book, but it was an athlete that was alone. Like, my father left me at 13 years old. And so my mom raised me by herself. And so that's always haunted me. And that's why I'm involved with single moms, helping hands for single moms because of it. And so, I dreamed this dream, man, is this kid that was born, and he didn't have his mom. And his dad never really told him, what happened with his mom. And as years went on, he would ask questions, and no one was giving him answers. And then one Pacific night, a lady that was always in the stands watching. He didn't know who she was, but she was cheering, and she seemed to be enthusiastic about what he was doing. The scene is set here in Arizona. It's set
Is it?
with it's set with your alma mater as well. Not your alma mater, your enemy, ASU. And
It's a basketball.
it's a thriller.
It has basketball involved?
It has anything I write.
It's gonna have basketball
It's going to have
involved?
a sports tangent. To
Sure,
it. But
yeah.
this is a thriller.
And you
This
thought
is
to bring
not
up ASU
yeah.
and basketball?
This is not a basketball book. This
So-
is not anything
okay.
like that. It just has a
Alright.
basketball story around the main story, which is a murder,
Okay.
and it's built off of that.
Is it a drama? Is it a
It's-
suspense?
It's
Is it a mystery?
suspense. It's a mystery.
Okay.
It's everything.
All right.
And it took me 3 years, and I have notes like this, and I wrote my first book, but it was a first person.
Mhm.
That's easy. I mean, you big dummy, you know, and I wrote that. You can still get that on Amazon, and that's easy. You get an editor, you get people around you, they're giving you advice, easy. But to write a novel is not. It's hard, man. And all my spare time on the road with the team, I'm writing, and I just struggled, man. I just struggled with it. And I finally developed a relationship with my co-writer, Gary Ponzo, who's written a lot of thrillers. And he and I got together. I told him my story. He was in the midst of writing a book, and he stopped writing his book because he loved what I was doing.
Cool.
And we wrote it together, and it's coming out.
So-
And I encourage people to go get it. It'll be on Amazon.
Okay.
You'll be able to go get it.
Is that the only place they can get it? Will it be in
Right,
any bookstores or anything like that?
it'll be other places as well. But right now, to start on Amazon,
Okay.
and I'm excited, man. So it's a tremendous read. I guarantee you, I've had probably 30 people test read it, and the consensus, they all loved it.
Do you are you going to do a book signing or anything?
I'm gonna do everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do book signings, tons of interviews, all of that. This is something dear to my heart, man. This is what I want to do when I'm done doing all of this other stuff.
Mhm.
Is write. And so, you know, people see an athlete like he's writing, he's doing this and that, and they're always in shock. And everybody has something in their life other than what they really do that they really enjoy doing and would love to do. And for me, I have a gift, man. I dream stuff. I have a lot of other subjects that I have dreamed that I've written down, and the future is going to continue with this. And so, you know, it could be even a part 2 to this book. As you read it and finish it, you'll see how it could be. But, you know, it's just something, man, that I want to leave behind, right? You can't take anything with you. I want to leave gifts behind. I want athletes to see me and know that I can do other things. Like I said, I never talked when I was a young kid, quiet as a church mouse. Now I can't shut up. But I went and learned my craft.
Yeah.
I've learned how to be a public speaker, and it wasn't easy. And so for me, writing now is an area, man, that it's not easy to break into. And so it's going to be hard to compete against all these great writers, but I'm going to try because I think we really have a good book coming out, and I think people will enjoy it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, congrats on that, and I'm looking forward to seeing it in person as well. Maybe I'll pass it off to my wife and her friends because they're reading this series of books that I swear are just they're a cover. They're a cover. They call them romance novels. Yeah, all right. I've seen some of those
You used
excerpts.
to read them romance.
I've
Man,
seen
let me
some,
tell you
I saw one excerpt the other day, and I was like, "What in the?
something.
Oh
man.
my goodness!
Man, listen.
Like, whoa,
Listen.
whoa!"
Everybody can agree with this. Like when I was growing up, I have so many books. When I moved out of my house that I was living in before I moved to a smaller house and downsized, I probably had maybe 1,500 books in my house. And that's what I used to do, read all the time. That's me. I read every Stephen King book. I read Jackie Collins,
For those of you
historical books.
For those of you streaming on our streaming channels, make sure you head on over to gophnx.com to catch the rest of this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've read tons of books, man. Historical books, obviously. I'm reading a book now in Ghana. I just visited Ghana, so you all know. And I encourage people to read, force their kids to read. My son is 38 right now, and I'm telling you, he's read probably more books than me. Okay, in my lifetime. He just reads. He reads everything. And I think it's important that people do read instead of just watching and 10-minute clip society that we live in right now.
Yeah.
You got to sit down and read.
All right. So a couple things before we take off. Listen, King Nacho, it's cool that you don't agree about the Beal stuff, but I think you've gone way overboard today. Like there's a threshold between being funny and not liking a player, and then kind of going over that threshold to be just rude,
just being astute,
and yeah,
no,
just
astute.
like there's absolutely no reason
lonely,
for it.
King Nacho?
There's no reason for it. Listen, all because EJ pushes back on the fact that he doesn't agree with you guys' thoughts on Bradley Beal doesn't mean that now, okay, let me try and be as disrespectful as possible. Like that doesn't equate to anything. I thought this was like a basketball conversation and you were going to make some valid points, but instead you're just crapping all over Beal relentlessly and then trying to crap on Eddie relentlessly because he doesn't agree with you. That doesn't make any sense. Like, let's talk ball. Let's talk about how Bradley Beal isn't as efficient in the lineup as he could be, and how the Suns aren't faring well with him in the lineup versus not. That's fine. But then we start drawing these conclusions and we start, trying to pit people against each other or try to make everybody feel as angry as you are. That doesn't make any sense.
No, he's lonely.
It doesn't make any sense.
You're a lonely
man.
dude, man.
Let's go.
And
Put
your profile up. That tell me what a man you are.
So
put your profile up.
Listen, come back as many times as you want. I don't really care. It's fine. But let's be a little bit more calculated in what we're gonna say instead of just being rude to people.
He probably couldn't even dribble.
So anyway. On that note, thank you all so much for joining us on Outside Shots today. Listen, we appreciate all perspectives.
Shot like this.
We appreciate all perspectives, but there's always a line that we want to make sure we don't cross, and we want to just listen. We want to talk ball.
Cross it.
We want to talk ball. We want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because that's what this show's all about, and that's what I'm going to continue to push for. So
you probably the guy ran up to me the other day asking for autograph.
You can follow him at JumpShot8 on Twitter, and on Instagram you can follow me at Saul_Bookman. You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns.
Let me say this: thoughts and prayers go out to Oliver Miller. NBA family has lost a number of fraternity members over the last year. Oliver Miller passed away a week and a half ago, and his service is today. I'm leaving here to go there, and he was a tremendous Phoenix Suns player. And the Suns alumni have lost a number of tremendous players over the years. Oliver Miller is the latest. So please, send your prayers and thoughts out to his family that they can make it through it. 54 years old, it's way too young. Oliver Miller. That's a guy that I'm going to miss. So I want you to put that thought in your head and check me out, SiriusXM, NBA Radio 1 to 4, Phoenix time today.
And that's my point, is you don't know what everybody's going through. And EJ needed to do this show a little bit later than usual, so that way he could go straight to paying his respects to the late, great Oliver Miller. But here you are being rude for no reason because he disagrees about Bradley Beal. Like, let's be better, people. Let's just straight up be better. All right. Thank you so much for your time. As always, we love y'all. Until next time, peace.